I now have the distinct privilege of introducing our Convocation chairman, Mr. Philip Friedman. Mr. Friedman is a longtime friend, a benefactor and supporter, and the vice chairman of the Board of Trustees of Yeshiva University. Mr. Friedman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 92nd Annual Hanukkah Convocation and Dinner of Yeshiva University. It is a great pleasure to join with you tonight in celebration of distinguished honorees, the Chief Marshal, Dr. Selma Batman, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs of Yeshiva University, will now proceed with the convocation ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem, led by internationally renowned cantor, Dr. Joseph Malovany, cantor of the Fifth Avenue Synagogue in New York City, distinguished professor of liturgical music at YU's Philip and Sarah Bell School of Music, and recipient of an honorary degree from Yeshiva University. Then please remain standing for the invocation.
Please join with me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we at the twilight's last gleaming, whose both stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight of the ramparts we watched well so gallantly, and the rocket's red glare amongst bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the and the home of the brave.
The 2016 Hanukkah Convocation is now officially in session. Please be seated. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, forgive me. The Hanukkah Convocation is now in session. Please be seated. Ladies and yes.
The invocation will be delivered.
Oh my goodness.
You have to do everything.
I've skipped a part, sorry. Apologies. The invocation will be delivered by Rabbi Kenneth Hain, Senior Rabbi of Congregation Beth Shalom in Lawrence, New York, a graduate of Yeshiva College and the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary. Rabbi Hain is past president of both the Rabbinical Council of America and the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary Rabbinic Alumni Association. Rabbi Hain.
Thank you. Sorry. The invocation will be shorter than the introduction. It is a great honor to be with all of you tonight, assembled here on behalf of our most treasured Yeshiva University, and in particular, the presence of my dear friend, our extraordinary President, Richard Joel, and as well in the presence of our anticipated with great optimism, our President-elect, Rabbi Ari Berman, Chair Moshael Straus, and in the presence of the Mayor of Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh near Barkat. Our very deserving honorary degree recipients, Gitta, Nagel, Joseph Appleman, and my dear friend and coach, Josh Muss. Tonight, we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Almighty's blessings, at a particularly critical time. Yesterday, we read of Yaakov, our father, Jacob, as he's about to leave the land of Israel, and he arrives at the place of Har HaMoriah in Jerusalem. And he dreams of angels, Olim v'yordim, ascending and descending. His angels are leaving, new angels are arriving. And we understand that this is a moment when he feels a great degree of vulnerability. The Torah tells us, V'Hashem nitzav alav, God is standing there. Why now? Rashi says one word, l'shomro, to watch, to guard. It suggests that in a time of transition between 2 points, Yaakov feels vulnerable. And it is at that moment he looks for shmirah, for protection, for guidance from God. Rabotai Avinu Shebashamayim Tzu Yisrael V'Goalo. Tonight we ask, as we find ourselves also in a moment of transition, globally, certainly nationally in our own country, in Israel, as it marks the 50th year of the reunification of Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh, and here at our beloved Yeshiva University, a moment of transition as well. May we learn this lesson of Hashem nitzav alav l'shomro. May we recognize that this moment as Yeshiva begins its next chapter, that like Yaakov at Har HaMoriah, we look to the Ribono Shel Olam for protection, for guidance, for direction. May we continue to be blessed. May Yeshiva continue to be blessed and provide for us, as well as for the entire Jewish world, its leadership in Torah, knowledge, and values. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Hanukkah Convocation is officially in session. Please be seated. I now call upon the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Yeshiva University, Mr. Moshael Straus.
Could have forgotten my speech, it would have been okay. President Joel, Dr. Lamb, members of the Board of Trustees, guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to join my colleagues in welcoming you to tonight's celebration. Yeshiva University's Hanukkah Convocation and Dinner is each and every year a unique moment in the life of our incomparable institution, and this year I believe it is even more special. Tonight, we not only honor and celebrate great friends and supporters of our institution, but we celebrate the Jewish people's capital and look to our future. Tonight we honor 4 individuals who model the attributes we wish our next generation to aspire to, and celebrate our talented students whose YU journeys inspire us and give us confidence in the brightness of our future. At tonight's convocation, we honor Joseph Appleman, Joshua Muss, Gitta Nagel, and the Honorable Nir Barkat, Mayor of Jerusalem. In honoring Mayor Barkat, we not only honor a man of great accomplishment, but we acknowledge the central role that the city of Jerusalem plays in our lives and in the lives of our institution. 50 years ago, the City of Gold was returned to Jewish hands, and Yeshiva University is proud to have our Muss campus located in Bayit Vagan, Yerushalayim. Yeshiva University remains singular in the world. Our commitment to Torah, rigorous curricula, intellectual exploration, and service to community prepare each student for a successful, meaningful life. But as our world changes and new challenges test us, Yeshiva University is looking forward so that our vital mission may continue to thrive for future generations. We've reached this exciting time in the life of the university, ready to follow a vibrant, new strategic plan which was launched this fall, thanks to the tireless leadership of President Richard Joel, a great friend and partner with whom I enjoy working each day. Under President Joel's leadership for the past 14 years, we have seen Yeshiva soar to new heights, and it is only fitting that we take a moment to acknowledge and thank him for all he has done. On a personal level, I just began my second year as chairman of the Board of Trustees and thank President Joel for his ongoing friendship and partnership. Tonight we also celebrate the recent appointment of Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman, one of Yeshiva University's poster children, as the 5th president in our university's illustrious history. Rabbi Berman and his wife Anita are with us tonight, and I know that you will all join me in welcoming him back to Yeshiva University. Thank you all for joining us on this special occasion, and thank you to everyone who worked so hard to make this night possible. Happy Hanukkah to you and your loved ones. And now it is my great pleasure to call upon the president of Yeshiva University, Richard Joel.
I'm privileged to welcome you for the 14th time to the Yeshiva University Hanukkah Convocation and Dinner. A few personal notes. It is my honor, as it always is, to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Norman Lamb and Mrs. Mindy Lamb this evening. Whose warmth and teachings and direction and support have never left my side for the last 14 years. I also want to wish Dr. Lamb a happy birthday next week. And please God, Cain Yirbu. I too am especially pleased to welcome Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman, who on July 1st will become the 5th president of Yeshiva University. May your journey, Ari and Anita, be as blessed and as rich and as enriching, as ennobling and as enabling as it has been for Esther and me and for our spectacular children. A Guinness Book of World Records moment, if I might. I want to share with you tonight that I calculated that this is the first time in history that 3 Yeshiva University presidents are together. So that's something worth celebrating. We convene for the Hanukkah dinner because Hanukkah represents devotion and commitment to the Jewish people, to our destiny, and to God's providence in guiding that destiny. Such is also the journey of Yeshiva University, a noble enterprise that fuels and kindles the lights of Jewish dedication and seeks to share it with the world. Tonight, we celebrate a yeshiva university that has never been more lustrous, more dynamic, more purposeful, whose faculty, students, and leadership share a commitment to what is finest in higher education and in Torah education, and to the synthesis of the two. Our prayer is that our children will build on our work, that their lives will be fulfilling, and that they will contribute to civilization. This evening, we celebrate 4 individuals and their families whose lives have profoundly mattered and who advance the purposes of the Jewish people and all of society. Please join me in celebrating them this evening. Thank you very much. No, too bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Richard Joel, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. We'll try that again. Good evening, everybody. All right, now we're talking. Welcome. My name is Josh Joseph. I'm the Senior Vice President at Yeshiva University, and it's my great pleasure to announce that we are now ready to commence with awarding this evening's honorary degrees. Tonight's first honorary degree recipient is Mr. Joseph Appleman, and he will be presented by Dr. Henry Crissell, Chairman Emeritus of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees. Joining in hooding are Mrs. Marjorie Diener Blenden, Mr. Michael Gamson, Mr. Rabbi Joel Schreiber, and Mrs. Shira Yosher.
Good evening. President Joel, it is my honor to present Mr. Joseph Appleman, attorney, honorary board member of Benjamin and Cardozo School of Law, and great friend of Yeshiva University, for the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Come join me right here. Stand a little bit more there. That's it. Thank you, thank you. Oh, you seem to have a rooting section over here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's first my pleasure to welcome the Honorable Uri Lapoliansky, I believe the 8th mayor of Jerusalem, who is here in friendship with the Applemans. Mayor Napoliansky. Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our sages, teaches us that ben tishim lo shuach, the age of 90 is a time for bending. My teacher, Rabbi Norman Lamb, explains that bending represents prostrating oneself before God. At 90, one focuses one's attention to the service of God. Rabbeinu Yonah reads the last word as lasuach, to speak. At 90, one directs his speech to matters of Torah. Joe Appleman, rather than wait until this moment in time, you have spent your entire life serving God and living God's Torah. You are a Baal Chesed, a true practitioner of kindness, and a Rodef Shalom, one who pursues peace. Advancing the Jewish future is not just what you do, but it is who you are. You say that you can never repay Yeshiva for your education. But in honoring you, we attempt to repay you for your commitment to Jewish education and the future of Jewish life. You were born in 1926 in Evarts, Kentucky, one of the lesser-known Jewish communities of the United States. Your parents, Harry and Bina Appleman, immigrants from Poland, and the only Orthodox family in town, ingrained the value of chesed, compassion, in you from an early age. In 1931, in the depths of the Great Depression, many local miners were fired for joining a union. Your parents, who operated a general store, decided to not only feed 50 children each day during the standoff, but before Passover advertised that they would give each needy family a 24-pound bag of flour, quote, regardless of color and creed, unquote. They dispensed a railroad car of flour. They incurred threats of violence and death, and they moved to Borough Park. You attended Yeshiva University High School and Yeshiva College, received a law degree from New York Law School because Cardozo was not yet open, and were admitted to the bar in 1960. You then served as a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve for 23 years as a chaplain, retiring in 1972. You've spent your professional career managing the family real estate enterprise that was established by your father. You have served and supported Yeshiva University in a number of capacities. As a benefactor, your support of scholarships has allowed students to earn a Jewish education. Your funding of Yeshiva has helped advance our cause. Your donation of the Florence and Joseph Appleman Garden has enhanced the Barron campus. Yes, we have a tree on the Barron campus. And your establishment of the Harry and Bina Appleman Gemilas Chesed Fund has provided free loans for Yeshiva College alumni. You've shared the vision of Yeshiva with many and helped enlist supporters to this institution, including your own children and your dear cousin Irving Montag of blessed memory. And you can take pride in the Montag Technology Center at Stern College. You also served as president of the Yeshiva College Alumni Association and continue as an honorary overseer of the Benjamin Cardozo School of Law. Of all you have achieved, Joe, I'm certain that marrying the love of your life, Florence, over 60 years ago when she was 3, was most defining. Together, you've raised 4 fantastic daughters and Yeshiva University alumni: Karen and Mati Gutman, Tammy and Dr. David Katz, Shari and Nathan Lindenbaum, and Aviva and Dr. Yitzi Jacobowitz. Several of your grandchildren are Yeshiva University alumni as well. As a testament to you, your children are not only supporters of Yeshiva, but they've also established the Tinek Mikvah and support Sharsheret. You've worked to ensure the future of the Jewish state. With your mother and 3 sisters, you established and sustained the Harry and Bina Appleman Religious Comprehensive High Schools in Israel. You and Florence have been generous supporters of Emunah and have also aided in strengthening several Air Force bases in Israel, and I didn't even know you flew. Through your constant family involvement, whether through weekly Shabbos visits, spreading laughter and joy, you constantly seek to enhance those around you, never focusing on yourself. With all the causes you've championed, you've avoided the limelight. It is fitting that Yeshiva University, your home, shines its light on you. It is therefore my great privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. In token thereof, I cause to be placed over your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
Tonight's next honorary degree recipient is Mr. Joshua L. Muss. Mr. Muss will be presented by Mr. Maury Weiss, Chairman Emeritus of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees. Joining in hooding are Mrs. Harriet Muss, Mr. Elliot Gibber, and Mr. J. Philip Rosen.
Hi there. How are you? I am well, thank you. Mr. President, I'm pleased to present Mr. Joshua Muss, a dear friend. Joshua Muss is principal of Muss Development, member of the Board of Overseers of Yeshiva College, benefactor and trustee of Yeshiva University, and conferral of the degree of Doctors of Law, honoris causa.
V'chol bonayach limudei Hashem v'rav shlom bonayach. Quoting Isaiah, Rabbi Elazar said in the name of Rab Hanina, Torah scholars increase peace in the world, as it says, and all your children will be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. The Talmud adds, don't read it bonayach, your children, ella bonayach, but your builders. Josh Muss, you are a proud son and cherished builder of Yeshiva University. You can come closer. Your grandfather, Isaac Muss, started Muss Development in 1906, which you lead today. Your father, Hyman, Isaac's son, once said, quote, we were born into a building family. We made it through the Depression by saying, there are always so many children born each year, and they'll always need houses. Building for the future is a Muss family tradition, demonstrated by the fact that all your children are involved in the business to one degree or another. You once said, quote, "I was born with an imprint of YU on my forehead," unquote. And your biography bears that out. Your father, Hain, was in the first graduating class of Yeshiva College in 1932, was ordained by the Yeshiva, and received an honorary degree in 1986. Your mother, Ruth, also received an honorary degree in 1996, and was the founding president of the Queen's chapter of the Yeshiva University Women's Organization. In 1986, in honor of your parents' 50th wedding anniversary, the residence hall in which your father stayed as a Yeshiva College student was renamed the Ruth and Hain Muss Residence Hall. You are a graduate of Yeshiva University High School for boys in 1958 and Yeshiva College in 1962, after which you received a degree from the Harvard Law School in 1965, also before Cardozo started. Your wife, Harriet, attended Teachers Institute of Stern College, continued your mother's legacy at YUWO by founding the South Shore chapter, serving on the National Presidium, and she's now an honorary national president. Your son, Jason, graduated from Yeshiva College in 1993, and two of your grandchildren are now on campus, Bracha Tova Muss at Stern College and Moshael Muss at Yeshiva College. A splendid tree that you and Harriet have nourished is your family. Your children, Jacqueline, Joseph and Miriam, Robin, and Jason and Jessica, along with 13 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren, the roots grow, Josh, and the branches spread. You've also continued your parents' legacy at YU, benefactors and dedicated, we're going to try that again. You have also continued your parents' legacy as YU benefactors and dedicated a good portion of your life to helping build yeshiva, what you have called the lifeblood which nourishes our families and our communities, the bedrock upon which the entire modern Orthodox Jewish world is built. You've served on the University Board of Trustees for many years, the Yeshiva College Board of Overseers, and with distinction, you chair the Yeshiva University Real Estate Committee. Your approach to building is to take the long view. You've championed projects that have taken from 20 to 30 years in gestation. Taking that time is important to you because you want to nurture them properly, to grow the tree, as you call it. You apply the same approach to YU. You and Harriet, as university benefactors, built the Rabbi Hain Muss Torah Learning Center and Beis Medrash Complex. YU's magnificent Jacob and Drazel Gluck Center for Jewish Studies was conceived and completed under your stewardship and loving guidance as chair of the Real Estate Committee. And you have counseled YU well in both purchasing and selling properties that have strategically advanced the university's mission. To you, YU is larger than its campuses and classrooms, and you are committed to bringing that larger university to the world and bringing the entire world to Yeshiva University. You're a strong and gentle man who feels profoundly and speaks respectfully, and someone who has been a stalwart partner to me for 14 years. Your commitment to Yeshiva University is as solid as your buildings, and your love for our students runs deep. Because of your steadfast belief that Yeshiva is important to the world, and because of the energetic efforts you've made to strengthen the whole house of Israel, it is my great privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. In token thereof, I cause to be placed upon your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Mazel. You want to say something?
I'm permitted a brief moment. I'm allowed on the podium. It's impossible to underscore all that Yeshiva University has meant to me and my family for almost a century, or properly acknowledge and thank all those who deserve appreciation. In general, for all of us, there is an obligation to do what is necessary to support and extend the influence that Yeshiva has on our lives. More specifically and all too inadequately, congratulations and a profound thank you to our fellow honorees, to Richard Joel for his many strengths and accomplishments, to this evening's chair people and facilitators, to our very, very special friends and family who honor us with their presence, and most of all, to my true co-honoree, my dear wife, Harriet. I love you, and we love you all. Thank you.
Our third honoree is Mrs. Gitta Nagel. Mrs. Nagel will be presented by her husband, Mr. Jack Nagel, member of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees. Joining in hooding are her children, Dr. Ronald Nagel, Mrs. Esther Lehrer, Mr. David Nagel, Mrs. Karina Parker, and Cantor Joseph Malovany.
Mr. President, I'm pleased to present Mrs. Gitta Nagel, community leader, philanthropist, and Yeshiva University benefactor for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, Honorary Causa.
Good to see. Good to see. This is me. Gitta Nagel, you are a life force. Yeah, we know, right? For yourself, for your beloved husband, your family, and your people. A force of beauty and strength, determination, and joie de vivre. It is so appropriate that we honor you at Hanukkah, the festival of miracles and lights, because you and Jack are living marvels, not only survivors of a dark history, but also and primarily nurturers of life as partners, grandparents, great-grandparents, leaders, and teachers. Born in Amsterdam, you were there when the Nazis invaded, and it was only through sheer courage and ingenuity that your family survived. In 1951, 6 years after the war's end, you immigrated to the United States, where you attended UCLA. It was there you met Jack Nagel, and in 1955, after a 17-day courtship, what took so long? You were married. It's 61 years later, and the courtship continues. You harbor a deep love for this country, which you expressed so eloquently when you attended a Hanukkah celebration at the White House. As you approached George and Laura Bush, you took the president's hand and you said, "When I was a young girl living in occupied Holland, I could only dream about America. But I could never believe that I would one day be standing in the White House, meeting you and celebrating my holiday. I am so grateful to the Almighty for this honor, and I want to thank you for what this country has done for Jack and me. You bring this gracious and impassioned loyalty to everything you do, which is why this country, the State of Israel, Yeshiva University, and the Jewish people are richer for your presence. You are a builder who, together with Jack, have supported and served in organizations too numerous to mention that promote your core convictions, historical remembrance, educational progress, and promoting the health of the body and the peace of the spirit. We are delighted that you and Jack have shared your resources with Yeshiva University as well. The Nagel name is well known on the Wolf campus because your generosity made the Nagel family atrium and student commons possible. Atrium was an important word to you because it means an entry, a beginning, and you envisioned a place where young men and young women can study and mingle as they enter a life of learning and discovery, and that is exactly what has happened. In the same spirit, you established the Nagel Scholarship to encourage more students from California to attend Yeshiva University. And they have, coming from Los Angeles, San Diego, and elsewhere, after spending at least 1 year studying in Israel. Perhaps your greatest building project has been your family. Even though you are the mother of 4 children, Ron, Esther, David, and Karina, you count their spouses as your children as well. So the roster should read Ron and Cheryl Nagel, Esther and Paul Lehrer, David and Marnie Nagel, and Karina and Drew Parker. Add to your 8 children, 20 grandchildren, and 9 great-grandchildren, and it's clear that the Nagel lineage will only continue to blossom. And I have had the privilege of conferring degrees upon 4 grandsons, Zev, Daniel, Jeremy, and Joshua, and 2 granddaughters, Annie and Bianca. You are also Mama Nagel to every child you meet, and some of us who are not just children. When you visit their classrooms to speak about the Holocaust, advise drama students about Anne Frank, or be interviewed by 8th graders about your life. Your children speak about your deep desire for learning. You've mastered 9 languages and have a more than passing knowledge of several dialects. From the time you were 2 years old, you dreamt of being a doctor, serving children in Africa. While life did not take you in that direction, you did help build what you called a world-caliber children's hospital at the Shari Tzedek Medical Center in Yerushalayim. At that dedication, as you are tonight, you were entirely in your element, standing next to Jack, enfolded by 4 generations of your family, in an institution dedicated to the values you hold dear. And tonight, Gitta, Yeshiva University makes you a doctor. You are a fierce matriarch whose steadfast and generous spirit has linked Jewish history to Jewish destiny. You've made our world more lyrical, more colorful, and more purposeful. It is therefore my privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. In token thereof, I cause to be placed upon your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Mazal tov. Mazal tov.
President Richard Joel, Honorable Mayor Nir Barkat, Mayor of Jerusalem, Ir HaKodesh, distinguished dignitaries and faculty of Yeshiva University, trustees of YU, fellow honorees, and my dear family and friends, and above all, as you heard, my roommate for over 61 years, my husband Jack, Yaakov Elimelech. It is with mixed emotions of pride, humility, and courage that I accept the honor you have bestowed upon me tonight. Permit me, and let me explain why. As you know, and you have heard tonight, I am a Holocaust survivor. And like most other survivors, not a day goes by where we do not feel a sense of guilt. Yes, it is an absolute guilt complex. Why am I so lucky that out of my 4th grade class of 30 students in Amsterdam, only 3 survived? All others perished. I recall vividly how we dreamt during those dark days of World War II, of liberty and freedom, of coming to this blessed country, the United States of America. We called it the Golden Medina. So how immense proud does that make me feel today that 3 of our 4 children and many grandchildren have attended this great institution. I thank the Almighty with all my heart that He gave my late parents, Kurt and Kate Ehrenfreund of blessed memory, the courage to immigrate in 1951 to this land of the free and the home of the brave. Yes, it was courage. They were already in their 40s to start a new life here again, 10,000 miles from home. Our roots started in Galicia, Poland, then to Berlin, Germany, and then to Amsterdam, Holland, where I, an Orthodox Jewish girl, went to school and became very close friends with the royal family. Speaking of courage, I want to thank again your former president, Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamb, with honoring me in 1998 with the Woman of Courage Award on behalf of Stern College for Women. And permit me at this moment to remember the indomitable strength and determination of a young woman, Miss Joan Apple, who together with my fellow Angelino, Dr. Karen Kermeyer Bacon, Dean of Stern College, opened my eyes to work with them on behalf of Yeshiva University. It was Yehoshua who said, "You have to have courage to face a physical battle, but you have to have even more courage to face a spiritual battle." And so it was. While the Nazis took away our heritage and our citizenship, our families and their belongings, destroyed and broke careers, the only thing they could not take away from the Jewish people was their sense of hope, tikva, imagination, pride, and courage. We kept that inner spark, that pintalayit, and the will to live, fight back, and build again. So Jack and I are so grateful. Even we live 3,000 miles away from New York, to have been able, together with our grown children, Ronnie, Esther, David, and Karina, to help build and improve this university in so many ways. Therefore, in deep humility, but with great pride and lots of courage, may this diploma cherish the memory of not just my murdered classmates, but all the 1.5 million children, boys and girls, who perished during the Shoah, for no other reason than that they were Jewish and belonged all to Hashem's chosen people. Am Yisrael Chai.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's final honoree and keynote speaker, the Honorable Nir Barkat. The Honorable Nir Barkat will be presented by Mr. Phil Friedman, Vice Chairman of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees. Joining in hooding Mayor Barkat are Mr. Malcolm Hoenlein, Mr. Ira A. Lipman, Mr. Michael Jesselson, and Dr. Mordechai Katz.
Mr. President, I am pleased to present the Honorable Nir Barkat, Mayor of Jerusalem, for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Come.
We are delighted to honor the Mayor of Jerusalem during this, the 50th anniversary of the reunification of Jerusalem. The undivided capital of the Jewish people. But tonight, we honor the man who leads the city. Nir Barkat, in February of 2015 in Jerusalem, you gained worldwide acclaim when you intervened to subdue an attacker in the midst of a stabbing. The press named you Batman. Others may look to comics to try to encapsulate your character, but we look no further than our Torah. When Moshe Rabbeinu saw an Egyptian taskmaster striking a Hebrew slave, The Torah says, Vayifen ko v'cho, vayar ki ein ish. He turned hither and yon, and he saw that there was no man, and he acted. You too saw someone being attacked, saw there was no man, and you took responsibility. It seems to be your habit, taking responsibility. Your mother Shula and your father Zalman, a professor of physics at the Hebrew University, instilled the value of education early in your life, and as a child, you remember the moments of the recapture of Jerusalem. You then served in the paratroopers brigade of the Israel Defense Forces for 6 years, reaching the rank of major. You then earned a bachelor's degree in computer science from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. You entered the world of high tech in 1988, founding with your brother Eli a software company called BRM, which specialized in antivirus software. Am I right so far? Okay, good. Later, BRM became an incubator venture firm, bringing many businesses to the next level. In addition, you established the social investment company IVN, Israel Venture Network, which serves to advance many young businesses and help provide a foundation for their success. With the focus of enhancing Israeli business, in 2007, you shared your business expertise as a member of the Israeli version of Dragon's Den, a television program focused on the improvement of businesses. You succeeded at it all. But you were profoundly not alone. For 30 years, your best friend and wife, Beverly, a B'Tzalel graduate and an accomplished visual artist, partnered with you in painting a splendid home, together raising 3 wonderful daughters who join us, Danielle, Noam, and Amit. As what has been called a public entrepreneur, even while you were building a successful career, your desire for the betterment of society led you to help reform Jerusalem's education system. You and Beverly became involved philanthropically with the Snunit Center for the Advancement of Web-Based Learning and became committed to educational progress in Jerusalem. In January 2003, you founded Yerushalayim Tatzliach, Jerusalem Will Succeed, and ran in the Jerusalem mayoral race. You led the loyal opposition in the city council until 2008, when you were elected the 9th mayor of Jerusalem. Since assuming office, you have elevated Jerusalem's culture, youth, tourism, education, and sustainable economic development to unmatched heights. As the psalmist wrote, Jerusalem is a city shechubra la yachtav, that is stitched together. With patience and with tolerance, you've worked to enhance the classical features of Jerusalem while responding to other voices and constituencies, and led a business, high-tech, tourism, and cultural renaissance, fostering a sense of unity in a world focused on anything but. You helped confront the tragedy of the kidnapping of Ayal, Gilad, and Naphtali with the establishment of the Jerusalem Unity Prize. Built on an appreciation of nuance, respect for others, and a determination to advance, your leadership has modeled a Jerusalem of shalom, of peace and safety, and a Jerusalem of shleimut, of wholeness, a tangible yet always fragile unity. You once stated that, quote, I am a great believer in tolerance. Tolerance is to listen, unquote. With the eclectic variety that the population of Jerusalem maintains, you've elegantly shown that unity without uniformity is possible to achieve. In 2013, you won re-election, and as a testament to your success, earned the support and endorsement of many parties and activists. You are a constant source of inspiration for both the Jewish community in Israel and here at Yeshiva University as well. With my students, you share and model the attributes of commitment to the Jewish people, professional acumen and determination, centrality of family, and profound public service. Our wonderful friends, Ingeborg and Ira Rennert, have established in your honor the Barkat Scholarship in recognition of your leadership of Jerusalem and the Jewish community. Thank you. Since your election as mayor, you've served the city for a salary of 1 shekel a year, just like me. You are known for giving, not taking. You told me that, quote, you don't do what you do to get honors, you do what you do because you have to, unquote. You understand the mandate to matter and we are grateful. It is my great honor, a personal honor, to confer upon you the Honorable Nir Barkat, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. In token thereof, I cause to be placed over your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I give you this diploma. Thank you. Mazal tov.
You're a good man. From the heart. Thank you. From the heart.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh, the Honorable Dr. Nir Barkat.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, President Richard Joel, for your leadership and vision. Chairman Straus and the YU Board of Trustees, thank you for this honor. Inga and Ira Rennert, thank you for your kind support and years of friendship. It's a big honor for me that you're here with us. My predecessor, Mayor Uri Lupliansky, my fellow recipients and honorary degrees, Joseph Appleman, Joshua Muss, Gitta Nagel, the love of my life, my partner, Beverly, my wife, and my three daughters, Danielle, Noam, and Amit, dear friends of Yeshiva University. 6 weeks ago, I celebrated my 57th birthday by taking my family for a guided tour in Jerusalem. I showed them the wonderful things happening in Jerusalem. I shared how we are boosting our economy, how I manage some of the most complex challenges imaginable. I have practically every conflict in the world on my table: secular, religious, the challenges of managing Jewish and Arab coexistence, and how to successfully combat terror. My family reacted with pride. I then took them to the Mount of Olives. My father and my mother, my wife and our three daughters, my two brothers, and our extended family. We were standing there at the grave of my father's grandfather, Shneur Zalman Zichro Livracha. Standing there, we contemplated the reality we live in. My great-grandfather came to Israel from Russia. He died in 1926, before the Holocaust, before the founding of the State of Israel, before Jerusalem was reunited 50 years ago. I tried to imagine if you can only see us standing there 90 years later. Would he believed what Jerusalem looks like today? And that his family is coming for a visit? And that his great-grandson is standing there, proud, as the mayor of Jerusalem? To me, this is nothing short of one of the biggest miracles in the world. But let me take you back 50 years ago and share another meaningful personal story. I was 7 years old when the Six-Day War began. My family and I lived a few hundred meters from the no man's land, the area between Jordanian and Israeli territories, the area that divided our city. I remember helping soldiers dig trenches and fill sandbags in our yard. We didn't have a shelter at our home, so my parents kept us under beds when the war started. Our whole neighborhood was shelled and bombed. Some of our neighbors were wounded. And suddenly, we hear on the radio, Har HaBayit Beyadenu. And the war was over. I saw people crying. And I remember asking, why are you crying? I didn't understand, because we won the war. It was the same understanding that I had and I learned as a boy, that we cannot take Jerusalem for granted, that we must continue to fight for her success, that has stayed with me for all my life. During the Six-Day War, I hid under my bed as a 7-year-old boy, while the soldiers around us fought for us. 11 years later, I knew it was my turn to fight for my country, for my family, for my people. And I served 6 years in the 890 Paratrooper Brigade. I ended up as a company commander, leading 100 men into combat in the First Lebanon War. And it was the same determination to fight for my city that continues to drive me today. 15 years ago, it drove me to public service. But I didn't start my professional career in the public sector. After the army, I stayed in Jerusalem. Like many of my fellow computer science graduates from the Hebrew University, I worked in high tech. I spent 15 years, successful years as an entrepreneur, turning innovative ideas from Israel into successful global companies. Then, after feeling fortunate, like many of you, Beverly and I decided it was time to give back to our community. Jerusalem has given us so much. We felt, and still feel, we need to give back to Jerusalem. It was the year 1997. Our oldest daughter, Danielle, was about to go to first grade. You know the feeling. We were excited like all young parents. So we found ourselves investing in active philanthropists in dozens of schools in Jerusalem and in non-for-profits in the education initiatives. And then we noticed something. We noticed that not everyone was able to give their kids the best education as we can. It shouldn't be like this, we thought. We felt a need to help. We slowly started realizing that it wasn't only about the education system in Jerusalem. The city was getting further from its potential rather than fulfilling it. Now here's something you probably realize about me now. I can't just stand by when I see such a challenge. I roll up my sleeves and get to work. Just like the 7-year-old who helped the soldiers dig trenches. Just like leading my soldiers to battle. 6 years later, one night in 2003, Bev and I went out for dinner. We looked in each other's eyes, and I said to Bevy, it's our turn. It's our turn to go into public service and serve Jerusalem. Beverly answered, yes, we'll probably pay a heavy price for it, both personally and the family, but for Jerusalem, it is worth it. This drive and determination, the need to serve, to never stop fighting, and roll up our sleeves, it was what actually sustains the Jewish people, not for the last 50 years, but for 3,000 years. Jerusalem's potential and future are huge, and I'm committed to build and develop it. In order to best understand our future, let's first travel 3,000 years back. When the land of Israel was divided to the 12 tribes, Jerusalem didn't belong to any specific tribe. It was a city for all tribes. It was the place where different people came together. Diversity and coexistence was invented and occurred in Jerusalem for 1,000 years. The phrase, Jerusalem makes all people friends, captures the emotional feeling pilgrims must have had entering the gates of Jerusalem. All people were always present in Yerushalayim. And when people went back to their home, to their tribes, they would share their experience from Jerusalem. They would tell their friends what's new in Jerusalem. Jerusalem was a place of thought leadership, as the holy city, the city of justice. That is where the phrase, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, comes from. The new Torah, new knowledge, new innovation. Once something is successful in Jerusalem, it becomes standard across the world. For me, it is a fascinating model for excellence, unique and brilliant. But this, what I've just shared with you, is not just our history. It's our future. Jerusalem has its tremendous potential, and we've acted on this potential of Jerusalem and what it stands for. We combined with this an entrepreneurial and classic management skill. We have created tens of thousands of new jobs. We've expanded culture and infrastructure investments. We've upgraded our education system that has dramatically improved the quality of the schools and parent satisfaction. We've made Jerusalem one of the safest cities in the world, with less than one murder for every 100,000 residents. Folks, this is 10 times safer than the United States. So when I fly to New York, I pray to return safely back home to Jerusalem. We have brought the people of Jerusalem together, working to better the lives of secular, religious, and Haredi Jews, as well as our Muslims and Christian residents, not leaving any tribe behind. I come from the business world, so I can't help but think in numbers and strategies. When I developed my business plan for Jerusalem 13 years ago, I worked with Professor Michael Porter and later with Professor Richard Florida to develop the strategy for the city. Yes, just like we do in the business world. With Professor Porter, we identified Jerusalem's key competitive advantages: the health, life science, biomed, and high-tech business cluster, and also the culture tourism business cluster. With Professor Florida, we developed a strategy to keep young adults, the creative class in our city, the innovators, the artists, young families. We created tax incentives for entrepreneurs and created a cultural renaissance, inspiring innovation and dramatically changing the ecosystem and atmosphere in Jerusalem. And it's paid off. In less than the last 4 years, we have gone from 250 startups in our capital to 600. Time magazine defined Jerusalem 2015 as the #1 emerging tech hub city in the world. When I see the sparkling eyes of the hundreds of entrepreneurs, I have a strong déjà vu and feeling of accomplishment. We now have more than 5 times festivals and cultural events and thriving cultural institutions, and a commanding lead in film and animation production in Israel. Walking the old city during the Light Festival, hope some of you have been there, with 400,000 joyful people, it elevates my soul. I'm proud of our achievements in education. Last year, for the first time ever, Jerusalem received the National Award for Innovation and the improved results and accomplishments in our education system. We have turned our schools into an asset for the city and for young families. And you know, all this cannot be done alone. I am thankful for the support and partnership we receive from Prime Minister Netanyahu and his government, and proud of my partners in City Hall. I manage a coalition of 30 city council members out of the 31. This broad coalition means that when we make a decision together in Jerusalem, the rest of the country and the world accepts it and honors our decisions. Because if it works in Jerusalem, it works everywhere. All of this exists in one united Jerusalem that does not distinguish between east and west, north and south. So you see why I'm so proud and so optimistic. When you all walk our streets, where kings and prophets walked thousands of years ago, today you see the diverse people of our city living together, thriving together, in our restaurants and theaters, in our hospitals and universities. You understand that Jerusalem is fulfilling its role more and more every year. I was privileged to spend time in many meetings with Rabbi Mordechai Eliyahu, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. During one of the first meetings we had, he asked me to share with him, what am I doing for Jerusalem? I shared my passion with him, my commitment to help Jerusalem. the fact that we're engaged to make the education system better through philanthropy, the fact that we're making efforts to keep the young, talented people which are oxygen to the city of Jerusalem, and the fact that we're working on economic models to improve the city of Jerusalem. He stopped me, got up, went to his shelf, and took out the Rambam. And he asked me to read out loud the 8 qualities of giving. I was shocked. I always thought that the highest quality of giving is matan baseter, giving anonymously. But I've learned that the highest quality of giving is helping people get out of the situation they're in, strengthening them so that they will not have to ask for help. מעלה גדולה שאין למעלה ממנה. זה המחזיק בידי ישראל שמח, כדי לחזק את ידו עד שלא יצטרך לבריות ולא ישאל. The highest level of giving is a person who supports a Jew who has fallen into poverty by strengthening him so that he will not have to ask others for help. By providing better education, working on maintaining more young people in the city, and working Jerusalem's economy to make it more independent, to stand on its own 2 feet, is actually the way of the Rambam. Today is very special for me. Coming to Yeshiva University tonight, I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of one particular person, my friend Eli Wiesel, Zichro Livracha, an honorary citizen of Jerusalem. In 2010, Eli wrote a beautiful tribute to Jerusalem. It hangs on the wall in my office in City Hall. Let me quote some of the things in the letter. There's a reason why Jerusalem was 17 times destroyed and 17 times rebuilt. There is a reason why when a Jew visits Jerusalem for the first time, it is not the first time, it is homecoming. He also said that Jerusalem must remain the world's Jewish spiritual capital, not a symbol of anguish and bitterness, but a symbol of trust and hope. I accept this award on Eli's behalf and on behalf of the 6 million Jews who did not live to see the state of Israel. On behalf of tens of millions of Jews over 2,000 years who lived and died, longing and dreaming about the liberation of our capital. I would like to take the opportunity to thank those of our friends from all over the world who have stood by Jerusalem throughout our history. In particular, I want to thank President-elect Trump for his strong commitment to bringing the U.S. Embassy home to Jerusalem, to the united, undivided capital of the Jewish people and the state of Israel forever. As Mayor of Jerusalem, let me wish all of us happy Hanukkah, and not just next year in Yerushalayim, but to see you this year in Yerushalayim. Lashana hazot v'Yerushalayim abnuya. Thank you for this humbling honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to all of our honorees. Will you all please rise for the Hatikvah and join in the singing, which will be led by Cantor Malovany.
Fateh
Thank you. Will the audience please remain standing for the recessional? Please remain at your seats until all the program participants have left the room. Mr. President, honorees, ladies and gentlemen, the convocation ceremonies are now concluded.